Hello everybody, this is Shadowbox and welcome to a type of video we haven't done on the channel in a long time. Today we are in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Those of you who have been here for a long time know that I initially started this channel as a Flight Simulator X channel, and we did a FS Passengers and an Air Hauler Let's Play. And I thought, you know what? I've been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator quite a lot. Why don't we bring that content back to the channel in a small way? Because I know a lot of you here are not necessarily into Microsoft Flight Simulator. You're here for the emergency stuff, which is fantastic. Microsoft Flight Simulator is just going to have a small part on the channel. It's by no means going to be a main feature. In fact, that's why I am in this livery for the Airsoft CRJ 700. This is the Osprey Regional, operated by British AvGeek. British AvGeek is a very active Microsoft Flight Simulator YouTuber and streamer. I will link to his channel in the description. I highly recommend his channel if you are interested in regular Microsoft Flight Simulator content. I am not partnered with him in any way. I'm just a subscriber of his and a fan of his. So, yeah, thought I'd send you over there if you'd like it. Really quick, if you missed the announcement, we also have a channel Discord live. There will be a link to that in the description below as well. You can come join, text chat or voice chat with us, and send pictures of your in-game screenshots. We might also be getting a couple of community servers live. There's a possibility for an Emerge NYC server in the future, and a Farming Simulator 22 community server is in the works. So if you'd be interested in either of those, make sure you join the Discord below. We will also be doing giveaways on there in the future, but I will announce that in a video as the time comes. So let's talk about today's flight. We are actually in Juneau, Alaska, hence the gorgeous mountains and absolute stunning scenery. Now, this is a default airport, so the airport itself could be better, but I mean, look at that glacier over there, the mountains. Oh, it's just a beautiful area. Now, I'm flying an Air Hauler 2, which is a business simulator. If you're not familiar with the concept, maybe we'll make a video going over that in the future. So I have my base of operations kind of in the Midwest United States. So how did I end up in Alaska? Well, I just flew ad hoc to ad hoc on like 2-hour legs until I ended up here. And now I want to get back. So today's flight, we're going to be flying from here in Juneau to Edmonton, Canada. And if I pull up my Navigraph to show you, we can go over the route really quick. So as you can see, there are no airways that really go between Juneau and Edmonton. So we're doing a waypoint to waypoint flight plan. We're going to be taking off runway 8 here in Juneau, taking the Juneau 6 departure. And this is, the first part of this is at least mostly visual, so I will be flying this manually. We're going to be taking off and as soon as practical, executing a right-hand turn onto a heading of 279 until we intercept the Coghlan Island VOR, or DME rather. Or is that a VOR? I'm still learning how to read charts. When I played FSX, I never got super into the procedures and everything. I just used default program flight plans. So anyway, I'm going to be flying this manually until we reach CGL, and then I'll be handing it over to the autopilot and just managing altitudes and speeds from there. If you're not familiar with the CRJ, there is no auto throttle, so we will always be in control of the aircraft's speed. And then we're going to hit Barlow. We're going to be flying over some gorgeous mountains and scenery to Radke, and then flying from Radke direct to our first waypoint, which is SQM. And then we'll be in the cruise for probably about an hour or so until we get to Esky and the Esky 2 arrival, which we're going to be flying down. In fact, if I pull the chart up here, we're going to be flying down the Esky 2 arrival, and then we're going to be flying out until we get vectors to come in for the ILS 2 approach into Edmonton. Now, normally I would be flying on VATSIM, however, live weather has been bugged for me lately, and that can be a problem if you're flying on VATSIM, so we are just flying offline, and we will not be using default ATC either. And because live weather is bugged for me, I've just gone ahead and used the Few Clouds preset, just so we can have nice views as we depart Juneau here. So our scheduled departure slot is, I believe, at 8:30 local time, which would be in about 7 minutes. No, 8:40. I don't know. Let's see. What does my in-flight message log say? Oh, well, we're still boarding. If I pull this over here, you can see we're still boarding our passengers. We're taking 53 passengers today. So let's get to the flight deck and start setting up. I'm going to turn my track IR on because it just makes setting up much easier for me. In the CRJ, we also have the checklist here on the side. I've already gone ahead and aligned the IRSs because that takes a while, as you probably are aware if you're familiar with Flight Simulator or just flight operations at all. So let's do our originating checklists. Let's see, crew oxygen and mask is checked, audio warning panel's checked, electrical power panel is checked. We are on ground power at the moment. Fire detection and Fire X monitor test. Let's see, I'm not entirely sure where that is. That's not it. I have about 20 hours in this aircraft, so definitely not enough to be an expert, but enough to be vaguely familiar. And I'll be honest, I normally skip over these because we're not expecting we haven't set up any failures. So external lights checked. We do have the beacon on as we're ever since Game of the Year Edition came out. Track IR has been pretty buggy with Flight Simulator, unfortunately. All right. Check, bleed air panel, APU panel. We won't start the APU until we're ready to push back. Start panel, hydraulic panel, we can get that going. Anti-ice panel. We're going to leave the pitot off for now until we get pushed back. That way the ground crew doesn't accidentally burn themselves on it. All right, emergency lights are armed. Nose wheel steering is off. Standby compass is working. Clocks are set. Yep, that's UTC time right there. Instrument panels checked. Upper pedestal checked. Thrust lever quadrant checked. Avionics are checked. Trims. If we go to performance, we actually have 53 passengers, and we can go ahead and set our fuel. If I bring up my sim brief here, we can see we have 12,273 pounds of fuel for this flight, and we can just go ahead and set that right here in this panel. We will set the payload in the simulator. We will copy the perf init data to the FMS. And then we can set all of our speeds there. And in addition, we see our takeoff trim should be at 7.2. So if we go over there, we need to bring the trim down a little bit. Come on. It wants to roll right past that too. There we go. 7.2 is set. All right. Let's go ahead, and our boarding is complete. Let's close up the aircraft doors.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the captain and crew, welcome aboard this flight. We hope you enjoy flying with us. Before takeoff, we would like to encourage all passengers to watch our cabin crew display the safety features of the aircraft.
All right, the APU door is open. We'll go ahead and start up the APU. See, there's that track IR bug again. All right. Let's see, what is our cruising altitude today? Is going to be flight level 370. Pretty high up, but we are going over some mountains after all. Go ahead and get this set. And we don't have any altitude restrictions on the SID itself either. All right. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't set up our route. That's kind of an important thing to do. So I will turn off track IR for this. And let's see, can we just... Let me just zoom in so we can actually see what's going on. And pull the speed brake lever out of the way for now. So let's go to flight plan, origin, and we're flying to CYEG. We don't have an alternate because we like to live dangerously. We're going SQM. Direct to Roar 2. And then direct to ESCI. Depart arrival, we're going to be taking the Juneau 6 to SQM off of runway 8. We'll execute that, and then for arrivals, we're going to take the ESCI 2 to the ILS 2. And transition, we'll just take a vector transition. That's fine. All right, and then if we go to our legs page, check for discontinuities. There's one right there. And a duplicate ESCI we can get rid of. Execute that. And I actually... Let's see, Barlow, it's telling me to go... What is that? INT... Barlow to Radkey. I'd like it to go... Let's see, what does our chart here say? So it wants us to fly from Barlow a 140 heading, and then once we get past that mountain there, fly 075 to Radkey. And we gotta definitely be above 6,000 feet by that point. All right. Get that over. I'm surprised it's not drawing the path for me at least, but that's okay. We can handle that. We're going to be flying 279 to CGL to Barlow to Radkey, and then from Radkey we will engage the autopilot. All right, and with that, I believe we are ready to push and start. Let me go ahead and turn track IR back on and reset the view here. And we'll set an initial heading fix. Maybe we can zoom in here a little bit. All right. Let's go ahead and that's what I want there. Let's start the pushback. Remove the chocks.
This is ground. Stand by.
Oh, gotta get rid of the ground power cart and the air cart, of course. Then remove the chocks. And this is the pushback toolbar, which is available for free on flightsim.to. This is essential, in my opinion.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft. Standing by for pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push. Parking brakes set.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
All right, sequence will be right then left. We'll wait for N2 to get up to about 18. And we'll Bring in the fuel. There goes the right engine. And let's start turning to the right. Let's start the left engine.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention as we display the safety
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
And your seats in the upright position. In case of a drop in cabin pressure, breathe
Ground.
mask
Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
over your head.
Roger. Good engine start. Clear it to disconnect.
During the evacuation of the
Go.
aircraft, the walkway emergency lights will display to the exits, which are located here
I didn't mean to.
and here. In case of an extended
That was
emergency
weird.
landing, you'll be instructed to
There's
take
probably an
your
update to the pushback toolbar I don't have yet.
between your knees with your hands over your head. We would also like to remind
All right,
you that
good
you
engine
can
start
turn off
on
electronic
2.
devices. We thank you for paying attention during this brief presentation.
Alright, everything looks stable. We'll arm the thrust reversers. We will turn off the continuous ignition and shut down the APU. Alright, and we should be able to go ahead and close the APU door now. And let's go ahead and get taxiing. Flap should come to 8. Now, I will note that I haven't actually flown in a couple weeks because I am kind of obsessed with Farming Simulator 22, to be honest. And don't worry, I have not forgotten about Emergency 4. Far from it. We've got a couple things in the works for you guys who are excited about Emergency 4, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, have you guys seen the update for Emerge NYC that was teased with the new AI? With the new AI logic, it's going to make the game look and play kind of like a modern emergency game, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I'm looking forward to trying that out. You know, the first person Emerge NYC, it didn't really capture me. Like, I think it's cool, don't get me wrong, but I don't really play it that much. Oops, that's not what I meant. I don't really play it that much. It just feels kind of too much for one person to play, or even multiplayer with 2 or 3 people. However, playing it like a real-time strategy game with AI people like that, I could see getting into. So we'll have to check that out at some point for sure. This is just finals week coming up, and then of course it's I'm a Christian, so I celebrate Christmas. That's coming up as well, so that's why videos have been slow, if you didn't see that vlog that I did. But yeah, don't worry guys, I haven't totally disappeared again, and if you want to keep in touch with me when I'm not able to produce videos as regularly, again, just that Discord is the best way to do it. Alright, so all that is good before takeoff. Alright. Again, we don't have any traffic or air traffic control, so we're just going to line up straight onto the runway. Alright. Strictly speaking, I should have turned on all those lights before entering the runway, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and hit toga. Fuel crossflow. Whoops, I just bumped my boom mic. Sorry if you heard that. Get that going, and we should be all set. Let's go. Let's get flying. Let's see. Do we have is our heads-up display working again? Oh, yes, it is. Good. Is our V1 and rotate. And there's our positive rate. Gears coming on up. And once we're above that mountain there, we'll go ahead and start our right-hand turn. Oh, we're coming up a little steep here. And let's go ahead and start that right-hand turn. Over to 279. Beautiful Alaskan scenery. All default. I'm looking at my Navigraph and I'm basically right on that magenta line that the flight plan wants us to be on, which is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and bring the thrust back to climb. And let's bring the flaps up as well. Alright, and we're on our target heading there. So we're going to basically fly this heading to CGL. Let's go ahead and let's trim down just a little bit. I want to be, and we are climbing at a decent rate here, but I'd like to get a little bit more horizontal speed. In fact, let's go ahead and let's fly with heading and vertical speed mode. Alright, we're coming up on CGL, so we're going to be flying to Barlow on a heading of approximately 251. We're up past 10,000 feet. Landing lights can come off. And let's go ahead and start that turn over towards Barlow. We'll correct that heading just a little bit so we are going direct to Barlow. Alright, here comes Barlow. Let's go ahead and start that turn over to 140. Gorgeous Alaska. Unfortunately, I haven't really looked into figuring out the new replay functions within Flight Simulator, so we're not going to have direct access. Look, there's a Juneau right there. Climbing like a rocket in the CRJ. Oh, so we're not going to be able to see replays of like our takeoff and landing, unfortunately. Let's switch to speed hold mode. Instead of vertical speed hold mode, I want 250, please. Alright, and then our visual marker is going to be this island here. Once we get to the other side of it, we're going to start a turn to 075, though of course we are kind of high for visual flying at this point. So you know what, I think we're just going to go direct to Radkey because we are clearly over any obstacles there. So we should now be heading direct to Radkey. And from there, the rest of the flight plan. So now it's just going to be a climb on up to our cruising altitude. We're getting past 1800, so I'm going to go ahead and switch the speed over to a Mach hold. Come on. There we go. And we're going to hold Mach 7.3. For the climb up to 37,000. Flight level 370, excuse me. The CRJ will, you kind of got to stay ahead of it. I should actually be a little bit faster than I am now. That's why my vertical speed has basically all but stopped. If you don't keep your speed up, you will find it harder and harder to climb to your cruising altitude. You've got to stay like right on the border of overspeeding almost. Everything is up and retracted, so maybe we turn down the speed just a little bit. Let's say 0.70 for now until we get a little bit higher. Let's take a look at the aircraft from the outside, shall we? Oh, is track IR still on? Yeah, let's pause track IR for this. Look at that. Oh, that's the thumbnail right there. I love this game, guys. I really do. If you ever want to fly with me, make sure you join that Discord. We can do some VFR flights around some nice scenery. I'd love to fly through Alaska with you guys. Maybe we could go from Juneau to Sitka or something along those lines, and some prop planes do some group formation flying, or if you want to just do some commercial ops on VATSIM with me, Discord is the place to make that happen. And again, if you want regular, I will be doing occasional flight simulator content, like I said. If you want regular flight sim content, I highly recommend British AvGeek. as I said, we really got to watch our speed in the CRJ. It's already fallen pretty far behind where we should be for this altitude. And you can see our we're actually falling with the vertical speed, which is not great. We're just on the verge of stalling out there. I got 2 screenshot happy. Alright, let's just make sure fuel crossflow can go back to auto. There we go. Bleeds and APU are set. Thrust reversers need to come off. There we go. And CAS is checked. We are on standard pressure. Alright, and we're back to climbing now that we've hit our Mach 0.79. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Even though I had it holding at Mach 0.71, not fast enough to climb at these high altitudes with the CRJ. You gotta keep it, like, right on the edge of the tape there. And that's why the speed climb mode is a much better option than the vertical speed climb mode. We'll use vertical speed for our descent because the CRJ does not calculate your descent for you, or at least if it does, I don't really know how to use it. So we will be calculating our descent and everything manually based off of our time to the start of our star. And let's see, our first altitude constraint for Esky 2, if I pull Navigraph back over, first altitude constraint is going to be at or below flight level 190 there. Or is that at or above? That might be at or above, actually. I don't remember. It's only been 2 weeks since I've flown, guys, and I can't remember the difference between the nomenclature for at or above or at or below. I want to say that's at or above is what I want to say. You know what? I'm just going to look it up really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, this is at or below, which is, I believe, what I initially thought. So, yeah, by Esky we need to be at flight level 190. Our cruising altitude is at flight level 370, so approximately 20 minutes from Esky we are going to start our descent. I will probably wait until we actually get to Esky and start our star to bring you guys back in. You can see we've got a total of 2 hours and 12 minutes approximate until we get to Edmonton. And once we get up to our cruising altitude here, we're going to go ahead and cut the video, maybe show a few glamour shots that, because, you know, I freaking love glamour shots in this plane in over Alaska. And then we'll come back for the final descent and landing. So I will see you guys then.